one. Welcome to Old Ladies Lift Chat. I am your host, one of your hosts, Laarni Mulvey, the Power Lady, and I have my other host with me here on this side of me. Shoot, I got that one wrong. I have Chandler Mars with me today as the other half of Old Ladies Lift Chat, and I'm so glad she's here with me today, and she's going to introduce our guest.
Oh, I am. I thought I was just going to introduce Old Ladies Lift in my camera.
Why did you just look like whack-a-mole?
The camera wiggled down. We should put this as bloopers on the Facebook page.
Where'd you go?
I sank down after it.
She got beamed up.
I saw her. I was like, bonk.
Oh my God, my eyes are crying. Oh my God. Okay, I'm not going to introduce LeTia. I'll handle introducing myself, and that's about it.
Okay. All right. Ready?
Take 4.
Oh, hang on. I got to get that. Breathe.
Put your glasses on, Chandler, so you can
My
see where I'm
hair's
at.
moving with the fan. Okay. Okay.
All right. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Old Ladies Lift Chat. I am one of the co-conspirators of the Old Ladies Lift Chat, Laarni Mulvey, the Power Lady. And I have my famous other half here with me today on this side of the camera again. Go ahead, Chandler, and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Chandler Mars, founder and creator of Old Ladies Lift, the premier site for older women who lift frickin' heavy.
So today we have an awesome member from the Old Ladies Lift group, LeTia Tybor. She is actually a strong woman competitor. Do we call it strongman or do we just call it strong woman, LeTia?
Call it strongman.
Okay.
I'm
I always
traditional.
go back. I always go back and forth when it's like strongman, strong woman, competitor. What do I call it? But LeTia is one of our strongman competitors in the Old Ladies Lift group, and I'm so glad to have you here today. Welcome.
Thanks. I'm excited.
Yeah.
So first question is, where are you from? Because all the members of the group are all over the place. And I think we even have international members. So where are you at?
I am from the Silicon Valley in California.
Oh, see, I thought you were in Florida.
No.
Totally different. Totally different.
Opposite coast. Yep.
So LeTia, what got you started? What got you started in trying strongman and now being a competitor?
So back in 2019, we found this awesome gym right down the street from my house. I would call it a boutique gym. It's not your typical, walk in and it's machines. So my boyfriend and I would go in and we would train, and I noticed all these weird things I had never seen before. I had seen them back in the day on TV, watching, the old World's Strongest and things like that. And then gradually we met some people at the gym who competed. And then I started looking more and more into this. I'm like, well, maybe this will be something fun to try at my age. And I hired a coach, and the rest is history.
So you went straight into strongman. You didn't go into like powerlifting or CrossFit or anything. You just went.
No, definitely not CrossFit. And I've always, since my 40s, when I hit 40, I've done some sort of strength training. So it was just kind of, I had a friend who was a coach, and she would say, go and do this. And, and then my boyfriend would used to program stuff for us, but it wasn't powerlifting specific. We always did the big 3 with accessories, but I never considered it powerlifting. And then now strongman. And of course we do the big 3 in strongman as well. So it's the best of both worlds.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. Have you done like every because every time I hear of a strongman event and I look at the like events, I'm just like, oh, what is that? Oh, what is that? And then when you walk into a gym like that, you see all these different kinds of
Toys.
Implements.
Like, apparatuses,
Toys.
It's like, do you go, oh, I wonder what that is. Oh, I wonder what that is. That's how I feel at my gym. Like my coach brings in something new and I'm just like, what the heck am I going to do with that?
Yes. Most of it now I'm used to. Every once in a while, something will show up and you'll be like, I've never seen that before. What do you do with it? So, but when I first started at the gym that I was at, yes, everything in there was like, what do you do with that? What is that? And it's a completely different world. And there's not a lot of gyms in my area that have that equipment. So it's like a specialty there.
Yeah, it's unique that you found that and you stumbled right into strongman. I
did.
think a different route is often people start lifting and then they, like Laarni, start lifting first and then they try, strongman just as an accessory.
And now you're hooked.
I know.
But there's cardio, right?
That's just more reps.
Yeah.
Cardio is just more reps. That's it.
I'm teasing her a little bit because that was her comment after her first
sandbag over bar. I'm like,
oh, yep.
I felt like my lungs were on fire. I'm like, I'm just standing in one spot going up and down with a weight, but I felt like my lungs were about to come out of my mouth.
Yep. It's a different world. There's a lot of, my coach calls it conditioning. So when we're not
way of cardio. Gotcha.
Correct. I'm not going to go out and run 5 miles like I used to. Now we're going to work on, we're going to do sandbag carries, and that's going to be conditioning for, the long run, especially during off season. We focus more on mobility and fixing, issues that we might have, gaining strength, and then conditioning.
What is it like? Okay. So when you started, how long have you been doing strongman?
Well, I started in 2019. So if you take COVID out of it, it's not very long.
Just recent.
Yeah.
So how old were you in 2019?
My first competition in 2019 was in September, and I was 46. I turned 47 right after that.
So how did you feel? What was your thoughts, your feelings about going into a competition like this and going, okay, all right.
Yeah, exactly. All of my competitions have kind of been the same for me. I'm not necessarily competing. I'm going to have fun. And Strongman is such an awesome community. No matter where you go, you make friends and everybody is welcoming. So I showed up at my first competition and there was another person from my gym there who was competing. And then we also had people from the gym that were there supporting. And it was literally just a day of fun and to see what I could do. I probably zeroed the majority of the events, but I had a great time. And of course, because I showed up, I got the participation trophy because I was the only one in my age and weight class. So I took first place.
Well, of course. So have there been any other women in your or around your age group?
Are there absolutely. There are. I'm looking forward to next year when I'll be in the 50 plus category. And then at least the weights will go down a little bit in the competitions. But there are a few ladies that are here locally that I know that are in my age group. And then usually there's, one or two, because when they do it, they just do it by masters. They call it a masters category. So they don't break you up. Anything over 40. And I know the competition I have in a couple of weeks, there's one person that's going that I saw on the roster, but there's usually one or two.
So the first competition I did, my division I was in the novice division, which is cool.
Yep.
And I think I fell in the middle, like my age. There was a girl who was younger than me and then a lady, maybe like 2 years older than me. And she beat me out. By 0.5
oh, really?
points.
It was the older one that beat you.
By 0.5 points because I couldn't get 15 sandbags over. I could only get 13. Gosh darn it.
Dang you.
Yeah. And that was
conditioning.
That was 0.5. 0.5 points. That's it. That got me second.
See, and I've never looked at the scores after an event. I just, okay. Yeah.
Well, I went there. I was like you in my first competition. Like, I'm just going to see what I can do. I'm going to try it. And I wasn't even the one looking at the scoreboard. It was the other girl I was competing against. She's like, I think they got our scores wrong. I was like, okay, whatever. She's like, come to the table with me. I'm like, okay. And she was the one looking at the scores. I'm just like, okay, 13 sandbags. Cool. I'm good.
That's a great number, especially in 60 seconds. Everybody thinks 60 seconds sounds like oh, that's not very long, until you're out there and you have to do something for 60 seconds. And then you're like, oh, I'm dying. You know, you hit, okay, we have 40 seconds left. And you're like, it's only been 20 seconds. Oh yeah. You know, I was watching the Strongman Corporation nationals were over the last weekend. And some of these competitors, it was, you know, you have 30 seconds left and they look like they're dying because they already hit 13 or 14 reps on something in 30 seconds. So I'm the conservative one. I try to take my time, make each rep count, and not die at the same time. That's my goal, not die.
I want to make sure that all my fingers are still intact.
And your toes.
And my toes. And my shoes, I got to make sure that my shoes don't have tacky on them. That's really like those 3 things that I'm just like, I like thought about my first competition, but thank goodness they didn't allow any tacky in my first competition. So tacky,
it's like, I call it, it's like, yeah, like slime, like snot, except for multiply that by like 1,000. And people use it for usually just for stones.
Okay.
And you put it on your hands and you kind of, you know, it'll stretch out. You put it on your forearms if you need to. And it just gives you better grip when you're picking up a stone. Because the smaller stones have a smaller diameter. The smaller weight stones have a smaller diameter. And then as they get heavier, the diameter gets bigger.
Yes,
so for somebody like me doing a 150 stone, it's a pretty big diameter. So I need all the help that I can get. And chalk just doesn't help.
Interesting. Okay.
Chandler, is this like really like, oh my gosh?
Well, I've only seen strongman competitions either via LeTia's videos and yours, and on TV, like both back in the day and actually during the pandemic when everything closed down and there was no TV shows. There was one local channel that seemed to carry lots of strongman competitions from all over the world over and over again. So
there's so many different events, and that's why it's something that is exciting because it's not just the same 3 things over and over and over. It's like, oh, well, this one has a circus dumbbell, or this one has a Husafel, or this one, like the one I have in a couple of weeks, has a mammoth bar deadlift, and I've never touched a mammoth bar.
Which I sent her a message as soon as she wrote, like, what is a mammoth bar?
It's a 10-foot long deadlift bar.
Oh.
So I haven't posted, I don't think, to the page my latest training video. So my coach has me setting up where my weights are on the outside of my bar to mimic this as much as possible. It's super whippy. If
like
you're a fast
bar.
Yes. If you are a fast puller off the ground, this thing is going to kill you. Yes.
Really?
So yes. It's definitely not for the fast pullers from what I've been told. So I'm excited to try it out. I just don't know how to pick numbers for it because I'm like, well, what can I do on a regular Texas bar? And I have no clue what I'm going to be able to do on this whippy behemoth.
Whippy behemoth.
That's somehow needs to be in a t-shirt.
Bar
on it. Yeah.
Yes, Chandler, that's exactly. We have to have them in the Old Ladies Lift merch store. We have to represent the strong women.
It's got to be strong women. I am annoyed that it's only strong man. My inner feminist thinks that they ought to have some name classification there.
So LeTia, did you watch the oh gosh, it was just on live like YouTube or something where they had like Jessica Fithen, Annabelle Chapman.
Hi, Jessica. Yes, the pro women.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So Chandler, there was this oh gosh, I don't even know what group. I mean, I know SBD was like a sponsor for it, but they had the world's strongest man, but they had a women's division that they showed.
And it was the first time at this event that they've had the women.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it was the pro women from around the world.
Cool.
And they moved it to Dubai.
Yeah.
So Jessica had to travel to Dubai.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. So I watched it for the first time, and I there's this one strong woman, Jessica Fithen, that she has a Instagram page called "You Look Like a Man," and it's just she just points out lots of like misogynistic patriarchal things on there that athletic women get told, like through DMs, through whatever. And she was on there and I was like so cheering her on. And I think that's one of the best things for me as a newbie strongman competitor is like seeing these other women do it all over the
Oh
place.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, the same thing with powerlifting. I think it's important for younger girls and older women, frankly, to see women lifting. And I think YouTube is dominated, obviously, by men. The competitions tend to focus on the men, even though there's a lot of really impressive women that are out there breaking barriers. So,
There
yeah,
are.
I agree.
I did a charity event a couple weekends ago called Pulling for You, and it was a charity event for cancer. And one of the local ladies and I went out, and we were the only two women, and
Really?
both of us are late 40s, early 50s, and the people's response to us, because it was a deadlift for reps for 60 seconds. I did 250 and Lisa did 350.
Holy
And then we
cow.
did a truck pull, and it was a 15-ton
I saw
truck.
that.
I think it was more than that.
I still
But
want to do that.
we were the only two ladies there, and people were just starstruck. And they're like, how do you do that? I'm like, the same way
Same
you
way
would
they
if you came out here. So hopefully next
Mhm.
year, we'll get some more. Women are just, they're scared, from what I understand. The person who put on the event went out to local gyms and really tried to do a push for this event, and women were terrified. No matter what he said to them, no matter what videos he showed them, women were just terrified. Even women just leaving the gym from working out. Oh, I could never do that. I'm like, why not? Why not?
He's gone to a CrossFit gym. We would have gotten a few women there.
I think he did. And they were
Yeah.
just like, no.
So what do you
Interesting.
think the future of strong women for this
Oh,
group is, for our age group?
there are some pretty, just in my area and some of the people that I follow, there's some pretty amazing women in the masters divisions. I'm going to meet one at my next competition. I heard she was the 2019 masters winner for Strongman at Strongman Corp. So, but then you see something like that, and then I get starstruck, and I'm like, oh, like Jessica, kind of the same thing. It's an up and coming sport altogether. And then having women on top of this up and coming sport, I think it's going to go a long way. I think we're going to get women in general going to get a lot more noticed because the sport's growing and you have more women at each and every event. It's only going to get bigger from here.
I feel like that's happening with powerlifting too, Chandler, don't you think? Like,
Oh, I agree.
The young women are coming up, but now same thing. I'm seeing a lot more women, older women coming in, and I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one in the Masters one or whatever. And I think the last powerlifting competition that I did, there was a lady who was like 87.
Oh, goodness.
And she handled herself. There was nobody with her. She was just like, what do you think my numbers are? She was like asking around, what do you think? And it was so, so cute. And a lady who was there, she just came to support, the competition. She actually ended up like helping her. It was so cute. I love that about the strength community, because it's like, it's almost like we can see, or we can tell, like, hey, you know what, maybe, do you need help? No? Okay, cool. Do you need help? Yes. Okay, cool. Let me help you. I love that about the strength community. And I think that's why I love surrounding myself with it.
Well, I think it's competitive, but it's also very supportive. And I think that's the cool thing. You can be both. And in a lot of sports, I don't think you can be both. It's cutthroat competitive, or it's not competitive and it's just very happy supportive. And neither works for me personally. I think you need to have both. And I enjoy that about this community as well. And I enjoy the fact that older women can start as older women and continue to progress and get freaking strong as they go. And you see some of the ladies on our Facebook group who are, they're older than me, and they're squatting and deadlifting 100 pounds more than me. And I'm 54 going on 55. And so you've got people in their 60s that are doing this. And so it lets me know that there is hope for me to have some of these lifts. And I didn't start obviously until I was in my late 40s, early 50s. And I know a lot of women are starting in their mid to late 40s, sometimes not into their 50s or 60s. And that myth that you can't build muscle and that you can't build strength as an older woman is just being shattered every day in every post that we have.
LeTia, what is your like favorite event that you've done so far?
Yoke.
Really? I
Really?
haven't done
Yoke. I have my yoke is in my kitchen. I have no kitchen.
Let's go back and talk about how many pieces of equipment you have in the square footage of your apartment, because I remember you posting about this during COVID, and I thought, I told my husband, we could get more equipment.
I have a 700 square foot apartment that comes equipped with a 100-pound German Shepherd. So you got to take that into an account. As I look around, wow, my log is behind the couch that I'm sitting on. I have 4 sandbags stacked by the door because I have a sandbag event at this next coming up. I have another sandbag behind me. I have over close to 1,000 pounds in plates, which include my 70-pound wagon wheels from Rogue. I have dumbbells all the way up to 55. I've got kettlebells. My yoke is in my kitchen, like I said, and not only is a yoke, but I also bench out of it and I squat out of it. I'm a bar snob, so I have different bars for different things. I know let me look. 1, there's 5, 6. I have 7 bars. I know, right? For one person. My stones
does it
nope,
too.
These are all mine.
Those are all yours.
Don't touch it. That's hers.
He's got his own stuff.
Okay.
So this is literally all mine. My stones are decorative elements outside of my front door. My Husafel is on the patio. I also have another rack on the patio for when it's nice and I can do like push presses. I can do rack pulls. I have additional weight on the patio. I have my throwing sandbags. Yeah, I have a sled. I have 2 circus dumbbells, which I know somebody in this group wants one.
I want a
so
sled, actually. That's my next purchase, but go ahead.
my entire apartment is outfitted, bands, jump rope, chalk buckets. I mean, everything you could possibly think of. There's not much that I don't have.
And looking at your screen right now, you would never think it. It looks like you look like you have that normal apartment with the pictures of your dogs.
My dog, yes. I figured, I'm like, where can I set up that's not going to look the craziest for people? Because people will start going, that's in your kitchen? Yeah, it's in my kitchen. Where else am I going to put a yoke?
Well, exactly. I mean,
COVID brought on some desperate times. And, I think I got really lucky because on the 17th of March last year, the gym was like, we're closing. And that night, my boyfriend and I had a conversation and we're like, this will be a couple of weeks. We immediately went to Titan and we bought a log, an axle bar, and just a generic barbell. The other thing we got lucky on was the gym. The person who owns the building actually has been in business setting up home gyms for years. So all of a sudden he started getting an influx of stuff. So we got most of our plates before they went up to the crazy astronomical prices.
So we got about the same thing. So a couple days before everything closed, so I don't know the exact date, but it was literally a couple days. Sally Goldman from our website posted that she had just purchased a rack at Dick's, and it was a nice inexpensive rack. And I said, well, do you like it? How much is it? Whatever. And she liked it, and I got it. I went and got it like that night because they had one. And then the Monday before everything closed, we have American Barbell has a warehouse here.
Wow.
We got some bumper plates. So we had the cheap rack and the cheap bar that it comes with, and the plates. It was like 250 pounds or something that it came with. And then we went and got a couple bumper plates and a couple quarters. And so we were pretty much set for a while. And then gradually I've gotten addicted to purchasing things. So we probably have 6 or 7 bars right now.
See?
I even have a pink one. That was my husband's doing, because my daughter, we didn't have an Olympic bar. And my daughter does pretty much Olympic lifting. She lives in Wisconsin, but when she comes to visit, she works out with us. And so he says, we've got to get her an Olympic bar. And so I went on Titan, and that's what they had. And I had points because I'd bought so much else from Titan. And so now
Sounds familiar.
a pink 35-pound women's Olympic bar, but I have a safety bar. I have a Vulcan bar.
The Vulcan Olympic bar.
Oh, well, there you go. My husband has an Olympic bar. We got the 2 cheap bars because we had one in our garage for some reason. And then halfway through the pandemic, we realized that the one we were lifting on was only 35 pounds. We thought we were having PR. It's now called the PR bar. So Tanya from our group had just ordered a bar from somewhere else, and they had like one left, a power bar, and we got that. It was probably like April, May, when we realized we were lifting on a 35-pound bar. I was so bummed.
Yeah.
But you felt strong though.
Yes, I'm crushing it.
I am crushing this. And we couldn't figure out why it was bending either. And it was like,
there's that.
It was a cheap bar. And it was, obviously, but it was only 35 pounds. And so, so we've gotten a little addicted too. And ours originally started in our dining room. Who thought I'd ever put one in our dining room? And then we ran out of space. So we moved our living room into our dining room and moved the gym into the living room. Now, get this. This is the addiction. There was a window to the backyard in our living room. And we thought, wouldn't this be cool if we had doors and we put a patio out there and we could actually just go straight? So now we have a patio out there with double doors in the living room. And when the weather's nice, like it is now, we can work outside. So
see,
this is like the best part. Like, I think this is one of the positives from COVID.
Absolutely.
I mean, because we have our home gym too, but we kind of did ours late. So that's when the plates, like a 2.5, kilo age plates, were like $40.
No.
And I was just like, oh no.
No. See, I got them. I would look for sales. Titan was great. Everybody bashes Titan, but
their packaging is horrible.
Yeah,
that's it for me.
Made it. So, and I have a trap bar too, and I got that from Walmart for $113. It has
That's my whole dumbbell collection is from Walmart.
Yeah. The dumbbells, we got parts and pieces from different places.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I think that's like one of the biggest positives of coming out of COVID right now is everyone has their backup gym, or people are now just training at home. Like you, LeTia, like you train at home. Do you still go to your other gym?
I don't. Until the gym reopened, I continued to pay my dues just to try to keep them afloat, even though I didn't go. And then made the tough decision that it's really not worth it. I miss that gym vibe. I really some days struggle to train alone because it's hard.
It is.
Especially, in this sport, and my coach isn't local. So it's just, everything's done by video. But I miss the gym vibe. I really, really do. There are a few people there that I love to see every single day, and I miss seeing them. But I still put in the work. I still get the work done here at home. And the best thing is I don't have to shower before I go to the gym.
You don't have to shower. You can wear your pajamas.
I don't know if my neighbors would like that part of it.
You're outside. See, I can wear whatever I want.
Well, the rain's supposed to be coming this week, so I'm getting creative. If it rains tomorrow, I'll be doing log inside the house in the living room. So thankfully, I'm short. I don't have to worry about hitting the ceiling.
So I think that's one of the questions I wanted to ask you is like, you bring your gear outside.
Yes.
You bring your stuff outside. we were talking about this offline before we started recording. Like, what do your neighbors think? Have they come up and asked you, like, girl, what are you doing, or something?
So the majority of the people, I moved from the front of my complex to the back. So most people who live here already knew that we worked out front. But now that it's more in their face, you know, the first couple times they see something different, like the Husafel, they were like, what is that? How much does it weigh? Or the log. So when they see something different, they ask. But otherwise they're just like, hey, how's your training going? You know, when's your competition? And so they're super, you know, nobody wants to work out with me, but they want to know, and they always stop. Like yesterday was a big deadlift day for me, and first time I used ammonium, and I was like, oh, and he's like, yeah, get it, girl. And you could see him in my video, and they're like walking past me going up the stairs as I did my lift. So they're not surprised anymore until I pull something new out. So when Circus Dumbbell comes around again, they haven't seen it yet. So they'll probably be like, what is that thing? And then we'll have the conversation.
That's cool. So how did you like the no salt?
Oof, oof, oof.
No salt.
Yes, the no salt. Well, the first thing I thought of was, do I really want to do this? Because I've been getting mine off Amazon and they're not available anymore. So I'm like, okay, do I have enough backup for my competition? But I'm not going to try it on competition day and not try it in training. So it singed my nose hairs. But it worked. It gave me that, and my deadlift flew up like it was nothing.
I'm interested. I don't know anybody who uses it. I've never, they gave it to me after I gave birth when I kind of started, when they walked me, I started to pass out. So they gave them to me, and it was the worst thing I've ever smelled in my life. And that was 27 years ago. I've never tried it since. I'm curious as to does it really just, I mean, is it the adrenaline that it gets you going? How
it is. And we used to carry them on the ambulance years ago for, things such as, passed out people. I've looked at people do it, and they usually use it for, a PR or a big lift or in a competition with something big. And Lord knows there are so many different scents and different levels of that. So this is just a little teeny tiny ammonia, crack it, you sniff it, and you go. I've never tried it. I thought I would try it to see if it actually did anything, because I'm I'm one of those people. It's like, well, people use pre-workout, and I'm like, I don't. People use a belt when they lift. I don't use a belt. Things like that. So it's like, I wanted to see if it was worth the hype, and it actually worked. There's another thing that I read, and I can't remember the article where I found it, that had to do with specific breathing pattern prior to a big lift, as opposed to using ammonium. So I wanted to see if it worked. It worked.
What is that breathing pattern?
It's more of going into a hyperventilation mode where it's a rapid breathing, and it's supposed to simulate apparently similar effects. I used the ammonia. It worked. The deadlift went up. I was like, okay, that worked. Maybe I'll try it again in my competition.
Oh, okay. I'm learning so much. I'm learning so much about like the ammonia, because my competition that I did, that was what we won, was a thing of ammonia, and I'm just like, what am I gonna do with this? And then I stayed back and I helped clean up the gym, and I got 3 more bottles of ammonia.
There you
just
go.
left it there. So I'm like, okay, cool. This one's mint. This one's watermelon. I was just like,
ooh, watermelon.
I was like, do I even try this? I'm like, no, I'm not going to try it.
Usually you can uncap it and hold it away from you. You can still smell it. It's when you get in there, it's like, I mean, my nose hairs were singed afterwards.
Oh, that just does not sound pleasant. As I said, the only time I've ever used it is when I was passing out after I gave birth.
That's the appropriate use.
Yes, I was like, oh.
Oh my gosh. All right. So LeTia, as we're closing out, what's coming up for you?
In a little over 2 weeks, I'll be in Texas. If we have anybody in the Dallas area, there is a event called American Heroes Classic. It's at the Colony, I believe. It's like at a carnival. It's going to be interesting. They have fireworks and things like, I mean,
that is interesting.
It's different, right?
You're going to have a lot of people kind of just stumble by and watch and cheer.
Correct. So if anybody's in the Dallas area, November 6th, come out and come say hi. And then after that, I am doing a competition here in Sacramento called Winter Warrior out at Untamed Strength, which is one of the biggest known. They've got some big people there, Alan
Yeah.
Thrall, Matt Webb.
Yes, that's where I know that name.
Yeah, I see.
Yes.
I was like, what is that? Yeah.
Yes. So Gina will be holding that event, and they're having Finlay fingers. So I'm going for the Finlay fingers. I don't care about everything else.
What is that? What are those?
So basically it's like at a giant pole that's on a hinge that you have to pick up and then push it over to the other side.
Okay.
And then you just kind of go back and forth for 60 seconds for reps.
Oh,
See,
okay.
this is what I think this is what's drawing me to strongman competitions are
All these
like,
new implements.
I'm sorry,
Nice.
these crazy shit things that they are like, and pardon my French, but like, I used to work at a utility company, and I'd be standing next to the truck and going, I wonder if I could pull this truck.
Absolutely.
These are the thoughts. And then I see like a big old rock, and I
All
go,
women think that, right?
I'm like, I wonder
Every woman, when you go to Target, sees those big red balls out front and you think you can pick them up. That's just normal. You've gotten into strongman when that's what you're doing, and you're taking a photo of it every time you go.
that might have to be an old ladies lift challenge only. Like everyone has to go to Target and like,
I think they're
Yes.
cemented to the ground.
They are. I may or may not
No.
have tried.
Oh my gosh. Well, LeTia, I am so glad that we got to talk to you today about
Thanks for
strongman
having
competition,
me.
what's coming up. And it's just like, it's amazing.
Whole
to
new
me.
world.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, I know that we have talked like briefly on Messenger, and I'm just like, what's that? What is this? Where'd you get that? It's just so interesting. And then Chandler, you said you wanted a circus dumbbell. Did I hear you say one of those?
Oh gosh, no, I would kill myself.
No, you wouldn't.
But I had to laugh about you. I didn't mean to laugh, but when I didn't occur to me that you might hit your face with it. And
totally.
I'm like, yep, if I did that, I'm sure my face. And the reason I don't play water polo anymore is because I kept getting hit in the face. So I cannot start a new sport that puts, I mean, I would
Gotta
end
watch
up
your
in,
face.
You are right. There
Yeah.
are so many
because
times.
you can't see, but I have scars and stitches because of getting balked in the face, and my husband being accused of things because I played on a men's water polo team. But yeah, so no, I don't want to do that one because I think I probably would kill myself. But some of the other events, I like the yoke too. I enjoy the yoke. And that I think I could do. And the wagon wheels, that's a deadlift. I think I could do that too. I think that would be fun. But some of the other ones, I think I might kill myself.
No, the logs, definitely. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. I usually go, oh yeah, I forgot to wear my mouth guard after I smack myself in the
Yes.
chin with it because my head doesn't get out of the way.
Well, and when I was doing CrossFit competitions, I would hit my chin when the snatches and or my nose, and so I'm like, nope.
Well, LeTia, thank you so much for hopping on with us tonight. This is a really cool conversation, and I love that.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, and like it's
Thanks.
really opening up, especially for I think our group is very interested in it because it's just something new. But like you were saying, like some women are like, no, I can't do that, but really you can.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And if there's anybody that's, in the Silicon Valley area, like Sally Goldman, you're up there at Boss Barbell, you can come down to my house. If anybody wants to come out, reach out to me on Messenger, on Facebook, on this page. And I'm more than happy to have anybody come out and check out the equipment and see what it's all about if they want to give it a try.
Oh gosh, that is so awesome. Thank you for offering that because I think it's just a new
takers. Yeah.
I'm more than happy with that.
Totally.
And then hopefully they move the nationals back to Vegas next year, and then I can be over in Vegas. Exactly.
Yes.
Hopefully they'll move
Okay.
it and I'll get to meet you and we can hang out.
Yeah.
You guys need to come to the Midwest here.
Well, you just need to get your master's invite and come to Vegas next year.
There you go.
Ooh.
That's it.
That's the plan.
Ooh, that might be interesting. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to like try for that. So anyway, all right, we could talk about this the whole time.
Forever.
I know, Chandler, we are just like we could talk about lifting and stuff all day, but we do have to close it off.
Okay.
Close off our conversation.
Okay.
But thank you so much for being a guest on
Yes,
Old Ladies Lift
thank
Chat, LeTia. It was awesome.
Thank you for
to
having me. I
have
appreciate it.
So Chandler, you want to close us out?
I will attempt to, but we know how my introductions went earlier. So everybody out there, check out our Old Ladies Lift website. Check out the athlete bios, the YouTube videos, get some t-shirts. I have one of them on, but I'm not at the right camera angle. Just, come and join us. If you are a woman over 40 and you lift or want to begin lifting, find our Facebook group of the same name. It is private, and we do not let any men in it, and we do not let any youngins in it. Only us old gals are allowed to there, and it's a wonderful group. So for everybody at Old Ladies Lift, thanks for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
So you guys, we will put all the information of how to get merch, how to get to the Old Ladies Lift athlete stories page. I will put all that information in the YouTube description page, because we want to make sure that we are represented out there and we are not the forgotten group of women that are just kind of floating out there. We're the strong older ladies that lift heavy, heavy things. So with that being said, oh,
we did it again. Okay, Old Ladies Lift, where age is inevitable, but weakness is not.
Oh yeah, see, that was it's always.
I forgot all about that part.
Chandler says it way better than I do. So
that's our slogan, though. It's really cuts to the truth of what we're about. You are going to get older, no matter what. You're going to get older, but you don't have to get weaker. You can become stronger as you get older. So
yes. Awesome. With that being said, thank you everyone for coming in onto the Old Ladies Lift Chat, and we will see you guys at the next episode. See you later.
Bye all.